Hi, and welcome back to the Awaken Your Wise Woman podcast. I'm your host, Biz Cush, and I'm super excited that you're here. If this is your first time listening, welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you will dive into older episodes, but here we are in 2025. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. It's hard to imagine that 2024 is over and we're moving into this new year, but it is the truth. This is where we are. And I'm excited for this next year and a little apprehensive about what's to come, but I am hopeful and continuing to work on um, being hopeful and looking to the positives and um, acknowledging the stress, but also focusing on what's good, what's right, what's important in my life as I age and as I get closer to retirement, but also just making a point to appreciate what is here and now. Are you a person that does New Year's resolutions, or do you set intentions, or do you do nothing? Do you just jump into the new year and figure it out as you go? I am not a New Year's resolution person myself. It almost feels as if I'm setting myself up for looking at failure versus looking at success or looking at abundance. So I don't do New Year's resolutions. And in the past, I have done intentions for what I hope for the new year, what I hope to accomplish, but also just how I want to be in the new year. This year, it feels like a softer practice, just being mindful what I want to bring in versus sort of hard, these are my goals. How about you? New Year's can also be a time to reflect on last year, reflect on what worked, what didn't, what you want to bring more of into your life, what can you set limits or boundaries around. I just read an interesting post from Tara Brock and Jack Cornfield have a community called Banyan, and they were sharing the importance of reflection and looking back at whatever it is, an experience or your year or yesterday, and ways to do that. So they shared a meditation and someone's experience of how they reflect back on their past year. And it felt really, I don't know, that felt good to me. That sort of an examination of what how I can bring more of the good and the positive into my life from last year to this year, and what I can either eliminate or set boundaries around in the past year that didn't sit right with me. I would love to hear how you're approaching your new year. And I'm excited for the possibilities of building new community in the new year myself. So that is definitely a priority for me, building my own personal community, but also helping other highly sensitive women build a community that is safe and supportive and meets your needs, because I feel like there's not enough space out there for us, that really attends to our sensitivities and honors who we are. So that is my goal for the new year. And to continue to practice self care. I've noticed that being a highly sensitive person, I can still tune out of what's happening to me for me inside. I may be carrying a lot of stress that I don't recognize as stress until my digestive system acts up or until I end up with a headache or I'm not sleeping. And so trying to work on being more attuned to what I need. And, I think for highly sensitive women, that's a continuing challenge, but a continuing work that we get to do is to keep checking in to ourselves with compassion and care. I'm also super excited about the continued exploration and learning around energy work for my coaching business because I have found that the energy work that I am doing personally, but also learning about and practicing, has been really great. Really, really just aligns so well with where I am today. And so I will continue to bring that into the work I do with clients. So that's really exciting to me and just the learning. I love to learn. So it's fun to learn more about energy work and how I can utilize it for myself and my clients. And I think it's so important. I feel like often with New Year's resolutions, we are focusing on whether it's our business or our health and weight and um, like things that we can actually tangibly see a correlation, whether we're doing well or not doing well. But I think what matters, what I would like to bring forward for my clients, for myself, is the personal. Like, what is it? How is it you want to be living your life? How is it you want to be interacting with the people in your life? How is it you want to enjoy and find fun in your life? That to me is just as important as the work, as the health. Like, obviously, our health is really important, but if we're pushing ourselves or not giving ourselves the space to travel, to spend time with people that we care about, for like, spending time outdoors, like we're not doing ourselves any favors. So, taking some time to figure out for you what matters going forward into the new year. Do you want to travel more? Do you want to spend more time outdoors? Do you want to spend time building friendships that really resonate and align with who you are today? And if you are struggling in friendships, I get it. I do. I think midlife can be a tough time for friendships because maybe all the friendships you had were associated with your kids and now they're gone and those friendships don't resonate anymore. Or maybe you have grown into this uh, I was going to say new version of yourself, but maybe you have grown into this upgraded version of yourself, and those old friendships just don't seem to align as well as they used to. I get it. And that can be hard. It can be really hard to make new, valuable friends in midlife. So I did create a guide just for that because I have heard from clients, but also know I've experienced that difficulty. And you can get that free guide. It's the Navigating Friendships for Sensitive Women in Midlife, and you get it at freeguide.elizabethcush.com. And what I always have to remind people is that my last name is spelled with a C, not a K, because oftentimes when there is AI that's generating transcripts, Cush comes out there with a K. So if you Google me, you wouldn't find me that way. So elizabethcush.com. That's me. Um, so what I'd like to do for the remainder of this podcast is to offer a brief meditation when you're feeling anxious or stressed, because as I said, that is something I am working on, is recognizing the anxiety and the stress so that I can work with it instead of against it. And so for the remainder of the podcast, I'm going to offer that meditation. And so if you're listening, if you're driving in your car or you are somewhere where a meditation isn't the right thing right now, you can pause this and come back to it later. I also always upload my meditations to Insight Timer. I have a presence there, so you can always access the meditations there. So, this meditation is to just help you kind of get to know your anxiety and stressful parts And just notice whatever else comes up as you're focusing your attention on that stress. So take a few slow, deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Let's do that again. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And one last time. And now I want you to just focus your attention and notice your body here where you are. And if there's any discomfort or you feel like you need to shift or readjust, feel free to do that at any time. But of course, do that now, whether you're sitting or lying down. Just notice your body and what you're feeling inside. Any sensations, any discomfort, any stress or anxiety, just putting your attention there. And I want you to turn your attention to that part of your body where you're feeling the stress, the anxiety, the discomfort. And notice what it feels like. Is it a heaviness or a tightness? Does it feel sharp or dull? Does it spread through your whole body, or is it just located in a certain place like your chest or your shoulders or your neck? And how does it feel? Just notice that without trying to change it or fix it, just bringing your attention there. And I'm wondering if you can get curious and ask yourself, how do I feel towards this part of me that is stressed and anxious or uncomfortable? And if you're not noticing anything other than frustration or numbness or a lack of feeling, just notice that. Is it okay to feel what you're feeling? Are you aware of any parts of you that want to avoid this or move away from what's coming up in your body? Because we often have parts that really want to avoid pain or discomfort or distress. So, are you noticing any of those parts? And I'm wondering if they would allow us to just, if they could just give you a little space to explore these feelings in your body, the distress or discomfort. Could they just give you a little space to continue to explore this and get curious? And if they don't want to move away or give you space, you can stay with those parts that are feeling frustrated or avoidant. But if they have given you some space that we can continue to explore, what do you notice now? Have your body sensations shifted or changed, gotten worse or lessened? Can you just get curious about what's happening and how it feels different? Is it okay to just be with that? And does this stressful or uncomfortable part feel your presence there with it? Does it know that you are there with it too? Does it need you to know something? What else does it need you to know? If your part has shared something with you, does that shift anything inside you as you hear that, as you take that in? And notice how you feel towards that part now. If it feels okay, Can you offer that part some compassion or kindness for sharing what it did with you? Is it able to feel that kindness and compassion from you and take that in? Maybe taking a moment to place your hand where you feel that part inside your body, to offer it that gentle touch, and just be with that part for a little bit longer. And maybe just get a little curious to see if anything has shifted or changed inside. Have you noticed more distress or less? And whatever you're feeling is okay. And now just take a moment to thank any parts that showed up during this meditation, whether it was your stressed out, anxious part, or parts that wanted to avoid, parts that wanted to numb, whatever showed up for you, whatever parts were available. If you could just take a moment and thank them for their willingness to be here during this meditation with us today. And when you're ready, bringing some gentle movement into your body, wiggling your fingers, your toes, stretching if that feels appropriate for you, and taking one last long, deep breath in and exhaling out, gently opening your eyes and coming back to the room where you are. Thanks for going with me on that journey. Thanks so much for joining me here on the podcast. I hope you will continue to listen or jump back into old episodes if you're new to the podcast and you can jump into the library. It's pretty deep. So I look forward to connecting with you next time here on the podcast. If you're interested in joining my group for highly sensitive women, it starts January 10th, 2025. And there are spots open. There are available spots for that group. It's at an incredibly reasonable price right now, which will go up in the future. And I'm hoping to build a community for sensitive women going forward. So if you want to get in on the ground floor, now is the time. You can find out more at elizabethcushcoaching.com. Click on the group coaching link, and you will find all the details, including the price, there on the podcast. I mean, there on my website. And so you need to book an info call with me, and that information is available there as well. So I look forward to talking to you soon. I look forward to connecting with you back here on the podcast, and I hope you'll join me in my group for highly sensitive women, Sacred Circles of Support for Sensitive Women.